here. I'm Chris Amada, if you don't know me. I'm over here, your host for the Casa Verde Connections, where we connect with the community and everybody in the cannabis business or industry. Um, let's get right into it, man. I got my homie here. I guess today I officially met you because I do follow you on the gram. I do. Um, so I have here. You want me to go by your government or I don't know.
It's whatever's fine, man. At
But
the end
it's
of the
fine.
day, man, the life I chose, you know?
We got the homie here. We got the homie um, with, I guess, the Instagram handle is Smoke Local.
Smoke local underscore NJ.
There you go. And in higher function, we'll get into that. And, maybe you could tell me a little bit more about higher function. I see you've been fighting for your license. That's a little more recent. Um, and and I just want to know a little bit about that journey because it's it's a rough journey for what I've heard and understand. So maybe you can maybe give out some lessons that you learned along the way, or maybe just what what are some hurdles that you went through?
Yeah, no, absolutely. A lot of entrepreneurs face the same challenges I faced. I've spoken to a lot of folks who are in the same circle with me, who are in the same journey, same path. The CRC did a great job as far as social equity licensing handing out. But for the most part, the same resistance, the same hurdles, the same issues that a lot of challenges that have been faced with local municipalities, and just that overall thought process of having to deal with these municipalities that don't see the vision, the journey, all the hard work that's being put into it, and just giving them all that power is something that I'm seeing that is basically the reason why a lot of us are failing.
Yeah,
Um, Again, I share this testament with a lot of others. I'm using this platform as my voice, as to be able to tell people my story, what I've gone through. But overall, it's not an easy feat. I mean, I'm still here. I've pivoted my energy in the last couple of years, actually the last year, simply because just the industry here is just, it's not an easy feat. I'll tell a lot of people that you either have to be about it, put all your eggs in one basket, be really focused on what you really want to do. Because this space will either swim or you drown.
yeah. The industry is pretty cutthroat for what I understand. And there's a lot of people trying to get it as well too, and I guess it's where I guess legacy meets the real market and transition period that people have to go through and growth to become I hate to say it, but like I guess more professional, I guess in a way, right? Like more blue collared and
Yeah, you got to
just
step out of your boundaries a little bit and understand that this is a legal industry. It's still emerging. It's growing by the day. But yeah, taking it back to like a legacy mindset is just like it's a transition period that even myself, I'm still going through it, and it's still kind of realizing, okay, what I'm doing now is legal. I have a legal emerging industry. It's thriving. It's doing what it needs to do. I'm not doing anything wrong anymore. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like I don't have that in the back of my mind, like, oh snap, like I'm under the radar, or
yeah,
I'm doing something that perhaps might raise some attention.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it feels good now.
yeah. So you don't have to keep your head on the swivel.
No, exactly.
So speaking about the license is the higher functioning.
Yeah. So with the higher function is essentially I'm one of their leads. Shout out to the higher function. Basically, what we're doing is we're setting the bar when it comes to education. We identified rather quickly as a group that in the category space in the rec or medical market, whether it's New Jersey, New York, or other thriving markets, is that there's a lack of education when it comes to the category space of concentrates and extracts. So, like I mentioned, we've identified that. We've come to the conclusion that, okay, we're here to bring that forefront, create bud tender training sessions, educate the community, educate those who are inspired or wanting to learn more about extracts, and at the same time, building those relationships with these brands and helping them showcase some of these items that are out there for the community to enjoy.
What inspired you exactly to launch um the brand?
Well, higher function is just basically it's Eric Dawson, by the way. Shout out to Eric. He's giving me the opportunity to help him lead this in the forefront. And like I said, we knew that education is something that we know is much needed in our space. There's still a lot of stigma. There's still a lot of misinformation, and the importance of education. We just found it to be like, okay, we need to get in front of this, ensure that we're creating a space that the education is being shared and not gatekept. That's something that we've noticed. That people tend to gatekeep, and no, unfortunately, we have to share this info. The more we're sharing this info, the more we're educating our community and educating the patients. It just doesn't. It allows it to flow. Like it just there's no more of that barrier, and people just feel more confident on what they're buying.
Yeah, definitely. I know your small smoke local Instagram. You do a lot of like what is it, like dabs, like reviews, or like right in a sense.
Yeah, like I like to evaluate different brands and what they're doing. I like to see all that hard work. I mean, making hash is it's an art in itself. Like you have to have a lot of passion, especially in the solventless side of things. Like you're really taking the time to create this art, and then hopefully in hopes that what you've captured in all that hard work that the consumer can enjoy.
Right. um what goes into you guys getting all this knowledge, and like I'm sure it's a lot of work, to me, to seek all this knowledge, and like it's changing new ways of I don't know, there's new ways for everything now, different solvent lists and solvents, so it's like, how do you guys keep up with all this?
Oh, I'm constantly learning something new, man. Like I try to do my best to stay on top of it with all these new extraction methods and tips and techniques that everybody's working on. It's exciting. I mean,
Yeah.
the fact that we have a platform to kind of go on and learn more and engage and try to, just get involved. Like some of that wasn't available a couple years back, and just seeing it in fruition is like, yes, you know what I mean? It's awesome.
Yeah, it is. It is. Um, yeah, I'm sure it takes a team too. You know what I mean? To always, ask these questions, and have like-minded people, peers around you to be able, to test each other in a way. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah. And as part of our team, like we all bring something to the table. Not all of us are like we're multifaceted, like in the sense that we're like a Swiss Army knife. We all bring some sort of talent, and together we kind of form like Voltron, and we may just make it happen.
Yeah, that's cool. It's a cool analogy.
Yeah.
So I want to go back to the licensing, because if obviously there's hurdles, like you were saying, but what about, like, some tips, maybe some lessons that you learned along the way, like playing nice with, the towns, or maybe even just push right through it, like, because it's one of the things where a lot of people want to but don't know how, or they're too scared. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of money involved, even to secure a spot, and all that. So, um, if if you could give out an advice to somebody that wants to open up a business, what would you tell them?
I mean, I always tell everybody, go for it, man. You don't want to live a life where you're saying, okay, I'm really passionate about something. I really want to do something. And years later pass by and you just say, you know what? I didn't even give it a shot. Like I should have just tried. So I inspire all of you. If you have it in you, want to get involved, there's a lot of ways to get involved. You just have to really put that work in. It's all about putting that work, connecting with the right people, having that same mindset, and connecting yourself with the right folks. Trust me, you'll get there. You'll get there.
Yeah, it's just patience. It seems like there's just a lot of patience that
It's
goes into it.
consistency.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's just being consistent. Even on days when you don't feel like it, you don't want to do it. You got to get up, got to keep showing up, being in the rooms, having those conversations, making a name for yourself and a reputation is really where I recommend a lot of folks to get started.
Um, Got a couple more questions. The one thing I really want to ask you is, what do you think about Casa Verde, and coming in here at the community, or if you got to see anything, any part of the community?
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned to you when I came in, I was really kind of embraced by the community itself. It's a nice, welcoming place. As soon as I walked through, I was like, I wouldn't mind moving around this general area of New Jersey, especially being from Hudson County. Like it's like a fast-paced city life, and taking a step back and to kind of feel like you're more at home. Like I feel like everyone knows each other here, so it kind
Yeah.
of gives you that feeling where you're being embraced when you come in here. So shout out to Casa Verde, man. You guys got it going on.
Yeah, appreciate that, man. Thank you. Well, what does it mean for you to be come out to a Casa Verde or a similar place that you can come out here and interact with the community and kind of spread the knowledge, spread the word of cannabis, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, I'm honored. I'm grateful to be here. I'm happy to be able to just communicate and connect with my peers that are all on the same journey, one way or another. We all share a similar story. We all are coming to one common ground that ultimately is the plant. We love this plant.
Yeah, the community interaction is very important, um, especially spreading knowledge. And the knowledge is number one.
Absolutely,
It's
absolutely.
we were before we were talking about when people come in and they try to you know impose or just try to tell you something negative, and then sometimes you got to hit them with the facts. And that's the most important part. Being able to, I guess, you know, coach or share information, or even just look it up, or just do some simple research.
Yeah, you're always going to have people that have those barriers or resistance, but those are the type of folks that I like to really engage with. It's like I like to have those clear, concise conversations and get an understanding. Is that why is it that you feel that way?
Yeah.
How can I not change your mind, but make you understand at an understanding that where I'm at a patient level and how I see these true benefits of giving people quality of life.
So if you weren't in the cannabis industry or doing this, what do you think you would be doing?
Well, I do have a passion for tech. I am an IT engineer.
Oh,
I do
okay.
that for a living on my 9 to 5, and in the hopes and dreams of fully transitioning into cannabis. But yeah, no, I've always been in the tech space. Strong believer of tech. The fact that tech has integrated now more and more into the cannabis space, from cultivation to the extraction part of it. It just allows me to embrace the technology and embrace the plan and just go with it.
Yeah.
It's great.
Seems like it just flows all together
Oh, it
for
flows perfectly.
you.
Yeah.
So I have a little couple of fun questions now. My favorite ones is you go after a smoke sesh. What's your like go to munchy or food that that's like I have to.
Yeah, I'm more of like I get that urge for something sweet and savory, like that sweet salty kind of combination is like it always slaps.
What is it?
Um, I don't know, man. Anything from like your candy to something like in the salty side of things, like your chips, like your typical munchy go tos.
Some Doritos,
That
Oreos.
combination of the sweet savor's got to be there,
Okay. So you
100%.
go in there, you grab a bag of chips, some salty, you
Crush
grab
it.
like a chocolate bar or some gummies, and
Yeah, yeah.
maybe like an Arizona iced tea or not, or a water bottle.
It depends on that mood, man. But like obviously, yeah, I get it, bro. It's just the sweet and the savory combination just
Yeah.
does it almost like how we chase terps. You know what I mean? Like we're
Right.
looking for that balance.
Yeah, yeah. I saw something recently. I don't know how true it is, but they're trying to like get wine and cannabis and try to pair it with herbs or find like common ground and stuff like that. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I'm not surprised they've the
Yeah,
wine industry has decided to partake in it, but the beverage market is huge. I
yeah,
mean, we may not be seeing it in New Jersey or New York yet, but I feel like the beverage market eventually will take off.
yeah, yeah, no, for sure. Um, last one, last one for me, man, the hard one. This man. I'll ask you this one. Um, what 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 would be your dream vacation spot? I don't know if I would say dream because like maybe you've already been to this vacation spot or whatever. But what's like even what's your dream vacation plans?
Re-vacation plans. As long as I'm somewhere warm where I can put my toes in some sand, and the number one thing that has to be part of that vacation plan is I have to be able to. A lot of these countries, and whether you're traveling somewhere tropical or you're going on an island, cannabis is still frowned upon.
Yeah,
So one of my main objective is because I rely on it for a better quality of life. Got to be somewhere tropical, somewhere warm, and I gotta have the plant with me. Like
yeah.
it's a must.
Nah, you know what? Never thought about it. Not a response that I thought it was gonna be, but Sounds pretty good. It doesn't matter it could be anywhere.
Whereas,
It's
yeah,
just toes in the sand. That's all.
toes in the sand, getting some sun,
With a
relaxing.
can of guard,
It's all about the vibes. But if I can't bring my plant with me, like, you know what I mean, as I'm traveling to wherever my
you're not
destination
going.
is, there's a good chance I'm not going.
You stay home.
There's a
Stay
good
home
chance I'm not
and
going.
smoke my own
Yeah,
cannabis.
yeah.
So those are pretty much the top things that I wanted to ask you. But now I guess we can have some fun for the live.
Sure.
Um, anyway, I don't even know where to start. Tell me a little bit about you. You know, a little bit background to get a sense. You
Yeah,
know,
no, I originally, as always, everyone, you know,
like
consumes.
where did you grow up? Where'd you grow up from? And you know, maybe the background. You know,
Sure.
like for example, like I grew up here in Dover, Morris County. I got my parents are South America. I have a lot of Hispanic culture, and well, grew up on I'm first generation here. Um, and yeah, that's like my basic my roots. I got into cannabis industry because of I got into a car accident and decided to put away the oxys and the roxys and the hard stuff and did my pivot and yeah, this is where I came about.
Oh, for sure. So, like, my journey really started when, probably in last years of college, where I started to really notice that I wasn't feeling too good. I was trying to see different doctors. Finally, got my diagnosis as a Crohn's disease patient. So, the category of Crohn's is a little bit more on the aggressive side. So, unfortunately, I've had to deal with some challenges throughout my life that's affected my career within cannabis as well. But the main uh, reason why it drives me because once I started to see the benefits and how much better things were, dealing with all these treatments and all the downside side effects that allowed me to not even consume a plate of food. Like, I was losing weight. I came down to a point where these medicines were just my body was just rejecting it. But somehow, every time I consumed a plant, some of that began to dissipate, and I began to notice that, wow, I'm actually seeing some sort of improvement where I now shifted and pivoted my energy. It was like, there's more to this. You know what I mean? And I
Right.
continued learning, continued diving into it more, and just kind of really researching the true medicinal benefits. Registered myself as a patient in the state of New Jersey, um, helping my doctor, who was my gastroenterologist at that time. He's retired now, but I helped him become, well, I became his poster child and helped him continue recommending cannabis to other patients simply because he saw how well it was, working for
Right.
me and just started to really recommend it more. He became part of his regimen. So I was very happy to see that other patients were finally able to get some relief that way. Um, but yeah, no, I continue to go and I'm continue to, you know, feed off this because of the simple fact that I do this for a reason. Like, this is really important to me. It's also been important in my life because I've dealt with a few family members that have had some challenges. Thankfully, I've been able to kind of help them get through those challenges. But at the end of the day, this is something I do with a lot of passion.
Yeah. When it becomes, medical or family member that goes through something medical or that, you really become real passionate into it and you really dig in there. Um, I know for a fact when I wanted to go through for my get registered and all with the state and get licensed or it was hard, you know what I mean, to get my doctors on board, certain doctors on board. Uh, how was your experience trying to get your doctor to? I'm sure it wasn't easy. I'm sure it took a couple times. I'm sure you had to be consistent with the foot firm because that's how I had to be with some of my doctors until I found a good one. But yeah, I know that journey is rough. But how is it for you?
Well, it took, not going to lie, obviously, I kept seeing the doctor simply because I was being treated for my condition, but continue to build that bona fide relationship and understanding. Just kind of every now and then during my visits, just drop something in there that's to kind of start the conversation. Eventually ended up leading where, like, you know what, I am going to register you. I've really thought about this, and let's just take it from there. My next following visit, we started to discuss like the different products that I found this relief, how I recommended taking it. So he was immediately grabbing a pen and paper and just jotting things down. And I was like, okay. Because for the most part, my experience has been when I discuss cannabis use, it's understanding that it's because of his scheduling that a lot of these doctors are very hesitant to say recommendation, cures, or treats.
Oh yeah,
So I completely understand when it comes from that point of view. So, just having that bona fide relationship allowed me to leverage it and just say, hey, listen, I am the real deal. Like I said, he labeled me as his poster child, and I was just grateful for him finally saying yes and allowing other patients to gain those benefits as well.
that's cool. That
Yeah,
that's actually cool because I had a lot of doctors that turned me down, and for him to be like, I'm gonna grab my notebook and go back,
yeah,
go back to school. I guess he pretty much, and that's pretty cool. So you stay consistent, and you ended up educating yourself. Now, I have a couple friends with Crohn's disease, but I don't think they use the plant as effective as they should.
yeah.
What's the most effective way?
So I found many different ways to consume it that perhaps there might not be even products available in the state, unfortunately. I started to deep dive. Okay, what are other methods that I can consume cannabis besides combustion or vaporizing it? I decided to pursue making suppositories TMI. I have, obviously a
Yeah,
Crohn's related condition. I've tested my own tinctures. I've worked on my own capsules, simply to find different methods of consuming the plant versus just always combustion. Saying, oh, it's just you know burning through a
yeah.
joint. Those were very helpful ways to get relief. I mean, I've made them for other patients as well. I try to do my best to cater to patients because I'm patient oriented from the very beginning.
Yeah.
So,
No, definitely. I know. I've used the suppositories when I had my surgery. They had to reattach my urethra, and it was one of those very, very painful uh, experiences. Um, but yeah, the suppositories, edibles, RSO helped me a
RSO.
lot. RSO really eliminated a lot of the use of oxy. That was the biggest one for me because I was turning into a zombie. So, that's why I preach RSO all the time. But I know, there's certain people, oh, I don't like it, or they don't like the feeling, or it gets them too stoned, too high. So it's kind of like a little, you gotta some balance some things out.
Yeah, it's just finding your balance. I always recommend everyone start slow.
Yeah,
Start slow. A size of a grain of rice or the size of a matchstick is a great starting point. Um, that way you can kind of guide yourself and feel comfortable. And perhaps on your next attempt of trying to medicate, just go up a little higher, a little less. But it's all about finding what works for you.
right. Um, Fun facts. I want to know some fun facts about some terps or some hash or some. If you have any fun facts,
Not a- I like that. I like fun facts.
no,
I like.
no,
We know what terpenes are. Thankfully, we're starting to become like the standard and the blueprint of, hey, we're not shopping just for THC numbers anymore.
yeah,
So super grateful for that. I mean, I noticed that you guys were already doing.
yeah,
It
yeah,
caught my eye as soon as I walked through the door. The first thing I noticed is okay, they're elaborating on the different terpenes and the benefits and different combustion temperatures and what are
yeah.
some known plants or whatnot that may have a similar profile to it. So that's amazing to having that education.
So as a having Crohn's disease, what's a good terp or yeah, what's a terp that kind of complements, right? Because the terps complement, it gives you kind of a feeling as well, or even like what is it, CBG, CV. There's all those types of things, but I guess the terps is more, I guess, a personal preference. But for what I understand, the entourage effects when it all goes in, you know what I mean. You get certain output.
Yeah, like I've noticed that, and not only noticed, but I've done some studying and reading up on it. Is that cannabinoids like CBG are very helpful. They promote a lot of inflammation relief. What I've noticed is because of my intestinal issues that I deal with my Crohn's disease, it's allowed me to alleviate some of that intestinal like cramping and tension and a lot of that pain that I'm dealing with, where ultimately allows me to eat. There are days where I literally feel like I'm fasting for a good amount of my period of time, and it's simply because of the lack of appetite or just not feeling well that day. Everything is an up and down thing with an autoimmune condition.
Yeah, yeah, for
So
sure.
just got to keep going.
Yeah, keep it pushing. So
That's
that
right.
that's all my questions I have. We have some more guests later on. They'll be here shortly.
Awesome.
Want to say thank you. Thank you for stopping by.
Oh, thank you for
And
having me, man. It's a pleasure, man.
yeah,
I'm
man,
honored
I
to be here in
appreciate
front of
it.
my peers and my community.
Yeah, yeah. Anytime you want to stop by, you already know how to get in touch with us. The casa is the casa.
Oh yeah.
So you know,
But yeah, I
just
just want to
come
give a
on.
shout out to everybody from my team, a higher function, the Buddha twins. You already know. And all my peoples, man, I appreciate everyone that's been supporting me through my journey, man. It means a lot.
That's for sure.
Thank you, guys.
Where can people find you? Where can people find your work or getting some more information with you, or even if they want to get in touch with you, like, yo, I have Crohn's Duke. Do you have a?
Absolutely, man. You can find me on Instagram at smokelocal_NJ. I'm also available at smokelocal@gmail.com. But if you want to find some other fun stuff that I'm doing in the community, you're definitely gonna find me through the Higher Function, where I'm helping us continue to educate our community.
Hell yeah, check them out. And you already know, guys, this is live. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. Yeah.
Awesome, man.